most of you know me. Most of you have been around for a while. Some of you don't. Will you give me an opportunity to try to motivate you and not manipulate you? Because those things kind of go hand in hand with a preacher. But will you give me some leeway? Yes?
Yes.
There are many churches that are blessed in our community. There are many churches that God is using to do things. But for some reason, God has chosen this church to put his hand on. We have seen 464, plus the one this morning, 465 baptisms since we started 9 years ago. That is just shy, just like 5 baptisms, 10 baptisms shy of one baptism a month, every month since the day we opened our doors. One baptism a week, every week, 52 weeks a year for 9 years since we opened our doors. We have approximately 340 people signed up in small groups in 26 different small groups, more than we've ever had before. We know there's not 340 attending, but they're on the rosters. They made a commitment to go, whether they did or not. We're averaging 715 for this entire year, which is by far more than we've ever averaged before. This month alone, we're averaging about 730, 729.5 to be exact. And I have a feeling that we'll hit that today as well based on the first and second service. The spirit of the people in this church is unlike anything that we've ever experienced before, except when we first started the church at Cosumnes River College, when we planted the church. It's just God is doing something, and it is amazing to be a part of. What God is doing in this church is something that you can be proud of. There are other churches doing great works as well, but it's something you can be proud of here. This is a great place to serve. This is a worthy place to give. Outside of our debt, we are extremely great in managing our finances with Scott leading that charge. So I want you to know right now, I am pleading with you to follow God with reckless abandon in every aspect of your life. To recklessly give your heart and life to him, to trust him in your walk with him, to trust him in your finances, to trust him in every aspect of your life, but also to back that trust up, to back that commitment up with action. James 1:22. That you won't just hear, you will do what it says, that you will trust God. Just as we're trusting that God will move in your lives for that $6,000 plus a month that we need to hit budget. And many of you have already done that. You've joined a small group. You've gotten plugged in. Many of you are serving in different capacities. Some of you are even stepping up in leadership, and that's great. Many of you have started giving for the first time. I don't know how many, over a dozen letters over the last couple of weeks that I've signed of people that have given for the first time or that have started to begin tithing. But I'm telling you, man, God is up to something here. Can you feel it? Can you sense it? Yes? The best question, though, is, are you a part of it? Are you a part of it? Are you an observer? I'm getting ready to write a book called The DNA of Changed Lives, and one of the things that I'm applying it to is the Sacramento Kings, which hopefully by the time the book comes out, they'll be good. The idea is that I've sat in the very, very, very top row in the corner, the worst seats in the house, and I observe a game from there. I watch a game. And I've sat in the middle areas, at the bottom of the top or the top of the bottom, and you're more a part of the game there. But when you are down on the front in those first few rows that I've been blessed to be a part of a couple of times, you experience the game. You're a part of the game. You're almost in the game. And still, before the Sacramento Kings leave here, if they ever leave, I want to have my feet on the floor. I don't need to be sitting next to Maloof, although I'll do that. I want to be standing and right there. Right there. That's how close I want to be to the game, even when they stink, because at least I can watch the other players that they bring in that are pretty good. Same goes with church. I don't want you to observe from the top row, and you attend. You show up here, and you watch what happens, you observe it, and you enjoy it. And it's better to be in this area. This is where the majority is, and they're involved. It's kind of cool, but when you're in the front, when you're in the front lines, when you're in a small group, when you're tithing, when you're serving, when it matters what happens to this body, when you're on the prayer chain and you're following up with prayer requests and you're praying for people, when you're concerned about what happens, which we learned in the very first week, where does our heart go? Where does our heart go? Was anybody here week 1 or 2? What have I said 100 times? Your heart goes where your money goes. Where your treasure is, your heart's going to follow. And for many of you, this is the last straw. Martin Luther was right. We got your head, you got your heart, we moved it to your head. And for many of you, now it's time to get closer to the front row and to really experience what's going on here because God is doing something amazing.